back. Uncle Jimmy's here. Your thoughts on the show so far? Big Red?
Hey.
Go ahead, man.
Call me Jimmy, your enemy, all right? That's what I am. Jimmy, your enemy.
Go ahead,
Hey, man, let's get to the big dummy of the day. I hate this. Big dummy of the day got to go to my boy Marcellus.
What did he do?
Marcellus, in the A block, real early, you tried to drop a Pookie reference during the Whitlaw.
Oh, you saw that in the smoking?
And then you turn right back around and say, no, listen here, Whitlock. They comments agree with you, but their words agree with me.
I didn't say
What the hell that mean?
I didn't say that.
Well, you've been working around him too long.
Here's a highlight from our discussion earlier.
Yeah, bro, I got to hold you to that.
They comments, but they...
Every day of Dak's sanity is a bad day for Dak Prescott. He looks greedy and delusional.
Respect to Dak Prescott, who is trying to control what he can't control when you're on the football field. I do like and respect co-workers who are overpaid, right? I do. You my boy. You my dog. Nah, you work. I'll give you that.
All right, so we've shown a highlight of Dak Prescott, but we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. Your thoughts, Big Red?
Hey, that's your problem right there. You don't play Madden, do you?
No.
No, you don't. And you know what? That's why you don't know nothing. Uncle Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy, I'm a certified first ballot Madden Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't believe in the work I'm putting in, boy, my receipts is up and down the internet.
Yeah.
You can see the carnage of little kids scattered all up and down while them busted their heads with this hit.
So you agree with me, Patrick Mahomes is going to set all kinds of new records?
No, not at all. No. Matter of fact, let me tell you something, man. Patrick Mahomes, first of all, they ain't going to set the records because they don't have to. Okay? They don't have to. We got a new defense. You know, we got a new day in Kansas City. Okay? We got a new defense, a new defensive coordinator. We got new defensive players. You know, a lot of y'all don't know this, man. Kansas City Chiefs done cut ties with Derek Johnson, Tom Ali, Justin Houston, D Ford, Eric Berry, our hometown heroes.
Yeah.
They gone.
They gone?
And I know what all y'all gonna say. Oh, well, all them changes on paper. You don't know what you're talking about, Uncle Jimmy. What did I tell you? I'm certified in this. I'm a Maddenologist. I know these things. You understand? Ask anybody about this Madden 20. Ask them. This Chiefs defense ain't to be played with, son.
So the defense is going to mean Patrick Mahomes is going to throw as many touchdowns?
Exactly.
Hey, he ain't going to have to. Defense going to handle it. Let me tell you something. Ask Darnell's little friend, Ty. I busted his head last night. Had to put him on suicide watch. Man, y'all better quit stepping to me, man. Let me tell you what Patrick Mahomes, let me tell you the one problem he do got. He a little light in the seat on that offensive line.
Oh.
Now, what he need to do, he need to go holler at your nutritionist to pick up a little weight on that front line.
Get him.
Look here, hey, Patty. Your boy Uncle Jimmy gonna be back in Kansas City in a couple of days. Holla at your boy. I deliver the blue M&Ms to you. Let me tell you, since I've been hanging out with him, ain't nobody put a hand on me, Marcus. Holla at your boy. Holla at me, Patty.
All right.
Okay?
Let me get
Kansas
my
City.
approval rating for Patrick Mahomes.
Kansas City. Yeah.
I move him up 3 points in all-time greatness. He's got the MVP award.
Hallelujah.
We did him.
There you go.
So I have him in GOAT status, 82.
Man, I got him in like severe fat goat status, man. I can't even move him up some categories. He's already great MVP. That's the only one I moved him up, but he was already at 25s all across the board. I love this dude. Next level talent, we know it.
The Twitter poll has him at an all-star level.
That's
I'm
low.
kind of surprised. There must be a lot of
He threw the
Chargers.
ball out of the stadium, y'all.
Chargers and
Haters.
Raiders fans.
Hating on the
Hating
Chiefs.
hating on
Raider
them.
fans.
LA show.
No,
GOAT
nothing.
status, definitely.
Yeah,
All
go.
right.
That's why y'all ain't got no
today.
team.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Luck is out with an ongoing ankle injury and is uncertain for week 1, with the coach planning to decide his status after the 3rd preseason game. Question here is, will injuries prevent Andrew Luck from reaching his full potential?
Absolutely. And that full potential is based off the expectations, which was the #1 overall pick, best quarterback prospect since Elway. He won't live up to that because of these injuries, because the longer you play this game, the older you get, you don't get healthier. And it's going to be a very difficult task for him to, one, just stay on the field, let alone live up to those expectations. I think he falls short.
It's been hard for him, and I think the early part of his career, he was one of those guys that didn't know when to get rid of the ball, and he would get blown up for a 4-yard completion, and he's improved substantially in terms of his decision-making, so that part I'm encouraged by. But when you get into the misdiagnosis of the shoulder and he misses that whole season, And now we're here, and it's supposed to be started as a calf, and then it moved to an ankle, and now it's a bone. So he's only played, or he practiced, what, twice during the whole
They said three
all
times
training
all
camp?
season.
Or something like that.
Since April, and here we are, 24 days left to the start of the season, and they still don't really know what it is. So that means that whatever rehab, whatever plan they have in place, it's a crapshoot whether or not it gets done. So we probably go into this season with the same type of uncertainty. And it is disappointing because I think he is a special young quarterback, and when he's healthy, they've got a chance to compete for the championship every year.
But it's you know, this is a new game, right? It's not when we played, when Marcellus and I used to battle. These guys, there's not the same game. These guys are not getting touched. There's a force field around these quarterbacks. Andrew Luck is a pocket quarterback. The prototype, height, weight, arm, the whole thing. So Dan Marino, John Elway, those guys are expecting him, put the brace on, like Tom Brady, sit in the pocket and throw the ball. And he's a guy that needs something to fight for, personally. I think Andrew Luck is kind of like Matt Ryan in that he now needs to take that step and become a man. And you know as well as I do, nothing helps you become that man more when you got to fight for something. And if he's got a little injury that makes him go out there a little hungrier to prove himself, I think that he's going to prove all of that wrong, and he's going to have a great season.
So you still think he could be the guy because the league is so protective of quarterbacks?
He has to.
He doesn't need to be as healthy.
And he has to be. And he has to be. The league protects him, and he has to be. This is his moment. This is his time. If he doesn't do it this year, you know, injury or not, then now you're talking everything you just said is for sure. And then to move on to his career, he's out of the Indianapolis and on to another program.
Well, to me, when I hear practice 3 times since April, and you're creeping up on 30, and I just, and the way the quarterbacks, the Mahomes, the Baker Mayfield, to the Deshaun Watson, this next generation of quarterbacks, I just think if you're not out on the field, game after game after game, season after season after season, it's hard to become a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning or the best quarterback in the league. And at some point during his career, Andrew Luck was supposed to be the best quarterback in the league.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think Mahomes has come in. I think Mayfield's on the rise. I think there's another group of quarterbacks that will be the best quarterbacks over the next 10 years. Andrew Luck will never be that guy.
There's one attribute, negative attribute, trait that they don't talk enough about, and it's called injury prone. And I was an injury prone player. When I was healthy, get it. When I wasn't, sorry. It's just, and if you're not available, he's protected by the fascination, the fantasy of, oh, when healthy. But there's going to hit a day where you're like, that's just the reality. It's no more fantasy. So when we see him out there, he's amazing. But he's not out there enough to get that body of work that's going to live up to these expectations. He's going to fall short.
I think you got to evaluate the medical staff, too. They misdiagnosed the shoulder. I don't know if they've made a change there or not, but they misdiagnosed the shoulder. When they finally figured out and he got surgery, then he was fine going into last season. Now here we are, and they've misdiagnosed the ankle or the bone or whatever it is. That's not Andrew Luck's fault. Like, let's figure out what this is and move forward, and I think he's got a chance to be on the field.
All right, Darnell, anything we missed?
Yes, sir. So Kyler Murray will be back on the field tonight as the Cardinals face the Raiders in their second preseason game. And the hype around Kyler is real. Cardinals GM Steve Keim said that Kyler Murray was a generational talent they just couldn't pass up on. So I want to ask you guys, are the Cardinals putting too much pressure on Kyler with statements like this?
Too much pressure, probably. And that's funny coming off of Andrew Luck, another #1 pick that was supposed to be the next John Elway, and it's not happening. Generational, I would just tone it down. I'd let the guy play.
This is the only athlete in athletic history to go top 10 in 2 sports. He went to bed every night with that on his head and walked around campus with $4 million in the paycheck. I think he's going to be just fine. He's been dealing with pressure his entire life. You think now that Arizona's saying he's going to be something special is new to this guy?
And you're in Arizona. And you're in Arizona. No pressure. No pressure in Arizona. Come on.
Steve Keim is saying that for him. He's not saying it for Kyler Murray. These guys have so much pressure on them already and so many rocks on the pile. It's the organization and the GM and the head coach's job to take a little bit off of the player, not put it back onto him. You're saying that because you want to justify why you fired a head coach and why you got rid of a top 10 quarterback. And the reality is, okay, you made the decision you made, and you're going to be judged by it. but now help that guy be successful. And the best way you can do that is by taking pressure off, not adding pressure to him.
Did you talk about a situation, vice versa, Andrew Luck versus this guy? He can't afford to have an injury. He can't afford to just sit in that pocket.
All right, coming
That's
up,
the only thing.
We'll give you our latest approval ratings for Patrick Mahomes, and Uncle Jimmy will tell us what he thinks of the reigning MVP. Next!